In this video, I'll be going over some of the basics of how Spellcasters works. In future videos, we'll go over the changes that I've made over the week, but first we need to actually look at how the game works in its core. Spellcasters is a top-down action game with a heavy emphasis on combat. So in this video, we'll be looking at how exactly the combat works. So here's our basic enemy, which we'll be testing some of the core mechanics on. In Spellcasters, you have 4 primary attacks. Your thrown pellet, like that, which is just a basic thrown explosive. There is also a melee attack, which you can do with the same button when close to an enemy. There is a sticky bomb, which can be applied after pulling an enemy in with your hookshot and using the same attack button. You can then throw them and the sticky bomb will explode. And last but not least, there is a landmine, or like a pressure-sensitive explosive, which can be deployed whenever there are no nearby enemies, and any enemy that collides with it will trigger the explosion. In Spellcasters, there are also 5 different elements that you can load into each of these 4 different attacks. The elements are rock, which deals the most damage, electricity, which deals a light base damage, but will amplify based on the amount of enemies in the area. Toxic leaves behind a gas of, a cloud of toxic gas, which will damage enemies as they are inside of it, as you can see there. Fire will burn enemies, causing any further damage to be amplified. And haze deals the least amount of damage, but will temporarily stun enemies. Spellcasters also features a dodging system, so you can press the spacebar at any time to dodge in a puff of smoke, and if timed correctly, like that, it will stun the attacking enemy. You can dodge just before the attack, and everybody in the area will be stunned. So now that we've got the basic mechanics down, let's see them in an actual fight. You can see that you get a rating at the end of every fight. Agility is a measure of how few times you got hit, so I got hit no times, so I got an S rank. Variety is a measure of, as the name would imply, how varied your attacks are. The more you repeat attacks, the lower this rating will be. Control is a measure of how still you are, effectively. Whenever an attack hits an enemy, you will receive a bonus if you are standing still, and you'll receive a penalty if you are actually moving when it hits. And overall is an average of the 3 scores. Is a perfect S rank. So that's my basic overview video of Spellcasters. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back next week.